the third and final phase of the assembly polls in Jammu and Kashmir. In this phase, 415 candidates are in the fray for 40 seats. We have spoken to voters on the ground to understand what the key issues are on the basis of which they will be casting their vote, from water, power, education to jobs and security. We have heard what's motivating the voters of J&K to step out and exercise their rights. Let me now go across quickly to my colleague Pia Man, who joins us with some of the key figures that we have to keep in mind as Jammu and Kashmir steps out to cast its vote in the last and final phase. Pia, over to you.
Indeed, first up, let's take a look at this map over here. You can see this is the map of Jammu and Kashmir, and this is an electoral map that we are presenting to you. It marks out and demarcates all the 90 constituencies of J&K. But what is interesting is we've seen polling that is already concluded in phase 1, that is marked in blue. There are 24 seats over here. Phase 2 in yellow, there is seen polling on the 25th of September that had 26 seats, and of course the last and final phase that shall of course be witnessed tomorrow itself, and this is marked out in green, and clearly you can see this is concentrated in North Kashmir as well as the Jammu region in particular. In total, these two areas have 40 seats. That is the largest chunk of all the constituencies that are going for polls tomorrow. The magic number, of course, is 46. That is the halfway mark. So we're seeing 40 seats going to polls tomorrow. These are spread across 7 districts. Now in North Kashmir, the battle is primarily between the Congress and the National Conference on one hand and the PDP on the other, as well as several independents. The BJP has in fact concentrated more over here, that is the Jammu region, where it has fielded the lion's share of its candidates. The battle lines, of course, have been drawn by the political parties in the north. In Kashmir in particular, more candidates as far as the INDIA bloc is concerned has been fielded by the Congress party, and in the south, in Jammu region, I beg your pardon, National Conference, and in south, in the Jammu region, it's the Congress party that is primarily contesting. And as far as phase 3 is concerned, let's also take a look at some of the constituencies that are going to polls. This right here is the Kashmir region in the north, and you can see Lolab, Kupwara, Tregam, Karna, Handwara, Langet, Supore and Rafiabad. They'll all be going to polls tomorrow itself. The voters will be inking their finger. Remember, there are 415 candidates who are in the fray for 40 seats. Baramulla, Uri, Gulmarg, Kriri, Pattan, Sonawari, Bandipora, Gurez and Vagura are all constituencies in the northern area in Kashmir that will be going to polls tomorrow itself. Of course, Kashmir has 16 constituencies. The Jammu region has 24, I beg your pardon. Udhampur West, Chennani, Ramnagar, Udhampur East, Bani, Bilawar, Basoli, Kathua and Jasrota are constituencies in the Jammu region in particular. As I said earlier, 24 constituencies. The largest share is in Jammu region out of the 2 regions that are going to polls tomorrow itself. These, of course, we've seen where all the voters will be inking their finger: in Araspura and Jammu South, in Vijaypur, in Suchetragarh, in Bishnagar, in Ramgarh, Samba as well, and Hiranagar, that is over here. So we've taken a look at where exactly they will be contesting tomorrow, where exactly the voters will be inking their finger. Let's also take a look at some interesting statistics that the Election Commission has put out. First up, the electorate. 39.18 lakh voters will be coming out to ink their finger tomorrow in Jammu and Kashmir. Out of this, there are 20.09 lakh male voters and 19.09 lakh female voters. But what's interesting is the statistic over here. 1.94 lakh youth voters will be coming out to cast their vote for the very first time. Second up, the logistics. Elections are a mammoth exercise, and the Election Commission has put up 5,060 polling stations and 20,000 polling staff. And out of these polling stations in particular, 240 are special stations that are spread across the 7 districts. Now, what's interesting is that 4 polling staff will be present in every single booth. CCTV cameras are put over there as well in order to check who exactly will they be casting their votes. Third up, there is a stark gender disparity. We've seen this in the previous 2 phases as well. Out of the 415 candidates in the fray, 28 out of them are women. That is 6.74% of the candidates are women candidates, and of course 93.26 are male candidates. But here's some data that has been released by the Election Commission today itself, and this is pertaining to the monitoring of election expenditure. Materials worth rupees 128 crore have been seized, and out of this 128 crore, 115 crore is just cash, liquor and drugs that have been seized. And as far as MCC violations are concerned, total violations reported until now is 1,263, and out of these the cases that stand closed, that are cases that have already the inquiry has been done and the action has been taken, those are 600. Meanwhile, 364 are currently under investigation, and notices have been issued to 115 candidates. That's all that we have for now. Back to you, Devika.
Thank you so much, Pia, for taking our viewers through some of those important statistics for us to keep in mind, like I said. But ultimately, it boils down to what really will be the issues that people will be voting for. I take this conversation forward. I have with me Sumit Peer, joining us on the broadcast, also Nikhil Jain and Dr. Ramesh Raina. Let me begin with Dr. Ramesh Raina. Dr. Raina, what is it that you're picking up as far as your conversations with people are concerned? What's really the mood on the ground?
See, the mood on the ground is that we have to understand there is a high-stake election, and this high-stake election is especially for 3 parties: Bharatiya Janata Party, National Conference and Congress. As we know, National Conference did not fare that good in parliamentary elections. It lost its vice presidential candidate, Umar Abdullah, against Engineer Rashid, and he did not lose by a small margin. He was number 3rd. And he lost by more than 2 lakh votes. Therefore, it is absolutely important. And we have to understand there are 40 seats are there to be contested tomorrow. Out of that, 24 seats are alone in Jammu. And Jammu has very recently gained in political prominence in the sense that, as you know, very recently there was a disclosure that lithium reserves worth $500 billion were found in Jammu province alone. So that gives an edge. That is number 1. And out of 43 seats in Jammu, 34 seats are Hindu majority seats. And the Hindu vote for BJP is absolutely important. That is number 1. And number 2 is the scheduled caste status and scheduled tribe status, which was according to border districts. Mostly the beneficiaries are border districts like Rajouri and Poonch, the plus point in that is that they have very recently included the influential Gujar leader Zulfikar Ali, and that Zulfikar Ali is a very prominent leader of Gujar. So the expectation is that they will do good in these 2 districts, Rajouri and Poonch districts. Not only that, there is another very important factor which we have not been talking about, and that factor is Ram Madhav factor. Because Ram Madhav factor is a very skilled man.
Yes.
The coalition that came into prominence in 2014 between BJP and PDP, Ram Madhav played a very, very important role. And that is perhaps one of the reasons that Ram Madhav was again sent to J&K and see that in the post-poll scenario, how best Ram Madhav factor will work in the government formation. So we have 2 scenarios this time. We have to understand one very important thing, that there is a schism between Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu predominantly is a Hindu area and Kashmir predominantly is a Muslim area. And the common thread in the regional parties is that they collectively want, their collective objective is to keep BJP away from politics. That's the common thread running between National Conference, PDP and rest of the party. But the game might be spoiled by the separatists, especially the separatists backed by Engineer Rashid. You will recall that Engineer Rashid was leading in 14 assembly segments out of 18 segments in Baramulla constituency. And he has fielded almost 30 candidates. Not only that, Jamaat-e-Islami backed candidates, they are in an alliance. Yes. So there is a possibility that in Sopore, which is a conservative belt in Kashmir, independents will make a good in the electoral battle. Therefore, we, as our understanding goes, and as our conversation with our colleagues in Jammu and Kashmir goes on, and the reports that we keep on watching either through YouTube or small conversations, is that Jammu, there is every possibility that Jammu might emerge as a single largest party from Jammu region, and National Conference also is expected to do too good, but it is not expected to do that good as it ought to have been, because there is Apni party which also has a small pocket of influence. There is Ghulam Nabi Azad which also has its own pocket of influence. There is Sajad Lone which also has its own pocket of influence. And as I said about separatists, so the cumulative impact of all this will be felt in Kashmir, will be felt by National Conference. Therefore, we have to understand that there is every probability that it might turn out to be a compulsive coalition between National Conference and BJP, because it in any case has to have a hung assembly this time.
Okay, Nikhil Jain, what do you make of that assessment? Your thoughts on what really will happen as far as the results are also concerned, but also keeping in mind that yes, as Dr. Ramesh Rana pointed out, several independents and smaller regional parties likely to, of course, have an impact as far as the Kashmir region is concerned. And do you feel that way the BJP played a pretty solid political card? Because they know that in Jammu they're pretty strong. Kashmir was the difficult factor for the BJP. And of course, we've been hearing how, there are all sorts of reports and rumors that the BJP is somewhere officially and somewhere unofficially backing some of the smaller parties in the independents.
So I agree with a lot of points that Dr. Raina made, except the last point that we might see a government in coalition with the BJP and the National Conference. I think the PDP has made that mistake in the past. They've realized how their fortunes have withered in Jammu and Kashmir just because they allied with the BJP. So far as the BJP stronghold in the Jammu region is concerned, I don't think after the abrogation of 370, that is the result that they're going to see. Because despite all the, ho-halla that we saw in the rest of India, other than Jammu and Kashmir about the abrogation of 370, that is a step that has not really gotten anything much to the people of the state, whether it's from Ladakh or Jammu or Kashmir. That is my personal assessment, of course, right? That being said, I feel that it would be the Congress that would be giving a good fight to the BJP in the Jammu region, and largely driven on the back of an anti-incumbency and anger of the people of Jammu against the BJP for abrogating 370 and the after effects that followed. So far as the Kashmir region is concerned, I feel the National Conference is going to have a much stronger edge. Yes, at all that being said, I do agree that a lot of these independents that are being propped up, or Sajad Leon's party, or Ghulam Nabi Azad's party, they are definitely going to play spoil sport for the India coalition. A lot, some of the anti-incumbency vote that would have headed, or rather the anti-BJP vote that would have headed to the India Alliance otherwise, may concentrate in these parties, whether it is the extremist separatist vote, whether it is the old-time Congress vote, which may end up with the Ghulam Nabi Azad's party, or whether it is the vote that Sajad Leon's party is going to get. That being said, I'm not quite sure whether we're going to see a clear majority of the India Alliance or not. But to have a National Conference and a BJP government, I don't think that's going to happen. Whether the state goes back into president's rule or not, I don't think the Abdullahs are going to make that mistake that the Muftis have already made. And I think it's a rather interesting election to watch out for.
Okay, Sumit, bring you into the conversation. Sumit, your assessment as far as the voting in Kashmir is concerned, of course, today the big day is going to be Jammu. But as far as the Kashmir vote is concerned, do you feel that the presence of several regional parties as well as independents will definitely have an impact on the seat share and vote share of both the PDP and the NC?
Devika ji, thank you very much for having me on your show. Look, if we look at it on the first statement I want to make, in last 1 decade or more, BJP has the best chance of making a government in the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir. That is the first submission I wanted, because they are very close this time. Look, if you look at the Jammu region, it is dominated by BJP, and BJP is going to get its vote. It can't go here and there. Congress can have 50 candidates in the fray, it doesn't matter. So BJP will go Jammu way. Rajouri, Poonch and all these districts which are in between Jammu and Kashmir, they are the districts which are in between Kashmir Valley and the Jammu. There's a three-way contest, and a lot of them are Hindu dominated, a lot of them are not. So I think BJP in a triangular contest has an advantage with the local alliances and all what they have done with the local candidates. So that there's an advantage there. You look at the Kashmir Valley, look at Umar Abdullahs and Muftis, what they have been doing. They have been running traditionally with a 7%, 10%, 15% vote share. That is how they have been winning elections for decades. Last time what happened? Umar contested Baramulla, which includes Gandharbal, his hometown. And he lost by 2 lakh votes because there was 54% turnout. Now we have seen 61%, we have seen 58% turnout. Ma'am, 51 and 68% turnout are not good news for PDP, is not good news for NC, is not good news for Congress. If NC was strong, they would have never ever tied up with Congress. Look, Umar and Rahul have not been at talking terms for last few years. This compulsion of election got them together. I don't know what is the reason. There are a lot of rumors about that, but that's not our business. So there is now this election has got them together, and out of a political compulsion they got into alliance. Even that alliance was to stop BJP from dominating the valley, because BJP if you look at Ghulam Nabi Azad's party, if you look at Apni party, and here we have PDP who wants to hold to the South Kashmir anyhow. You know, Mahbooba Mufti's daughter is also contesting from South Kashmir. She wants to hold the South Kashmir. And then you have these independents, Jamaat backed and not Jamaat backed, claim to be Jamaat backed. Then you have independents of Engineer Rashid. Then you have other independents in the fray. So basically, it is going to be a very tough fight. It is going to, hang by the threads. And these independents are going to dampen the vote of NC Congress alliance. They're going to dampen the vote of PDP alliance, and ultimately, a lot of them might end up supporting the BJP if they need, as well, say 5, 10 or 15 seats. BJP will not go with NC because that is not the DNA of Modi ji. He doesn't want to have any business with Farooq Abdullah. PDP is out of the cards. PDP is not what it used to be. It's a fading sun. And you know what they rightly say about PDP. You don't know when the Jamaat ends and PDP starts, and you don't know when the PDP ends and Hizbul Mujahideen starts. That's the reality of life. Let's face it, that is what PDP is. So Umar is in existential crisis. Now why does Umar Abdullah need to contest from 2 seats? This time he's from, Gandharbal and Badgam. Badgam is not his hometown because he's contesting, he is not sure. After the whacking he has got last time by Rashid Engineer, he is not sure about anything. Congress can see the pulse. Congress doesn't have a vote bank. So with these regional parties which have been cropped in the valley, so what was there? There was a dominance of valley-based parties. Now with more parties and more independents coming, look, it's very natural the valley's vote is going to split. यहाँ थोड़ा यहाँ जाएगा, थोड़ा वहाँ जाएगा. That split of vote gives an advantage to the BJP because consolidation of vote in Jammu, then Bhadrawa, Kishtwar, Doda, all these things, BJP will have some advantages. You look at that consolidated block, and if you look at tomorrow's phase, I will call it a BJP phase, because out of 24 seats are in Jammu region, and what Dr. Raina rightly said, out of that, majority of them are Hindu dominated. So it's going to be a BJP story tomorrow. And even if you look at Naushera, where Ravindra Raina was contesting, 64% turnout that is the advantage to Ravindra Raina. So wherever BJP is, it is consolidating it itself and entering new areas. And in Valley, the vote is getting divided. The division of vote is not good news for Valley-based parties, because I don't call them J&K-based parties. They are only stronghold in Valley. And before this delimitation, Devgaji, let's not forget, 5% turnout, 7% turnout, you will have a chief minister either from Muftis or from Abdullahs, because that valley was controlling 65% of the seats. So it doesn't matter, even with 1% turnout, even their relatives come and vote, still they would have become the chief minister. So that thing is gone today. If you look at Mata Vaishnav Devi constituency added to Riyasi, things have changed, and that constituency had the highest turnout so far. So the paradigm for the first time have changed. Let's see how it goes. Independents will have a lot of up their sleeve, and let's see who manages them well.
Okay, so it seems a little bit of the consensus amongst the panelists is at least that there will be a split of the vote as far as the Kashmir region is concerned, and that could possibly be an advantage for the BJP. But Dr. Ramesh, when I bring you back to the conversation, I want to understand from you, sir, as far as Jammu is concerned, has there been some sort of, or rather the BJP taking the Jammu region a little bit for granted?
No, not exactly. Let me tell you one thing. If that would have been the case, Delimitation Commission would have not raised the number of seats from 37 to 43. There's a slender difference between Kashmir 47 and Jammu 43. Let me tell you one very important thing, that Jammu this time is going to, the government will be formed with the Jammu support. I mean, Jammu will define the next government in J&K. That is very clear. And there are certain positives for it. For example, it has reserved 7 seats for scheduled castes. It has reserved 9 seats for scheduled tribes. So that means there are 16 seats, which is expected that Bharatiya Janata Party will have a lion's share out of that. Not only that, one very important thing which we have been ignoring, that is Bharatiya Janata Party has been leading in 29 assembly segments in Jammu. Then another very important thing, I don't know why Bharatiya Janata Party has not been talking about that. That is, during DDC elections, district development elections, PAGD secured 110 seats. So all of this conglomerate. And BJP was the single largest party with 75 seats. Therefore, we have to understand BJP has created a larger space both in J&K. But unfortunately, even though BJP has an organizational presence throughout the valley, but unfortunately this time it is not going to translate into votes, because a narrative has been built that the relations between Muslims and J&K are strained, because there are multiple factors for that. One very important factor is about CAA, which was marketed as an anti-BJP and as an anti-Muslim move, and it had a direct impact on the thinking of the people in Kashmir. So that one is very, very, very important. We have to understand, from 1947 till date, there have been 12 elections, and during all these 12 elections we have seen low voter turnout, and it is only during our lifetime that this 24 elections we are seeing the highest voter turn ever taking place in the state of J&K. Okay. Not only that, you have to go a little back. In 1987, when MAF was there fighting under the banner of Muslim United Front, they lost the elections. And the entire loss of the elections was attributed to the National Conference. They said that a narrative still continues to be in the valley, that the elections were rigged, and that was the root cause of the terrorism in the valley of Kashmir. Therefore, that element is still alive. And there is one more element, and if you see at the manifesto of National Conference, there are 2-3 things which they are trying to appease. One is they say that the 2000 resolution, the resolution passed in 2000 in J&K Assembly, which asks for greater autonomy. Greater autonomy means pre-1953 position. So that means that pre-autonomy position is still there. Another thing, they say that we will restore Article 370, which just is not possible. So that means they want to keep people in good humor, and they want to take them on garden path. And another, there is a pro-park constituency still in the valley, which they have kept in good humor. Just give me 1 minute.
Yes.
And they have said that they have pleaded for a dialogue between Pakistan and India. So all these 3 constituencies, it speaks volumes that they are not sure about the victory. That is number 1. And when Mr. Sumit P talked about the low voter turnout, it was not people who used to come to vote. It was the party cadre. And it is the party cadre which would make them win, not the people. And this time, it's vice versa. It is the people coming in large numbers, and that is what scares them.
Okay. I want to bring Nikhil back into the conversation. Nikhil, I want to understand from you as far as yes, of course, analysis and all of that, the deeper analysis that we've done, keeping that aside for a little bit and just coming down to the brass tacks of it, which is the numbers at the end of the day. When we talk about the increased seat share given to the Jammu region, you're looking at a 43-47 split. It's just a matter of a difference of 4 seats. If we were to really boil it down to the numbers, does the BJP, do you feel, have it in them to have a clean sweep in the Jammu region? Because that really will ultimately be the deciding factor. You're looking at a total of 90, you need 46 to win.
I don't think that the BJP is in any position at all to bring about a clean sweep in the Jammu region. Even if they were to, 43 seats isn't going to make them the assembly, because the BJP itself is contesting something, I think 62 seats if I'm not mistaken. They're already not looking to grab the state in terms of getting power on their own. I don't think there would be any party that would be willing to ally with the BJP. So I think the only hope that the BJP has in terms of running the state would be through the LG and not by getting into the elections, because I would reassert what I said earlier, that I don't think that the people of Jammu would be happy with the performance of the BJP, given the fact that nothing really are allying with the likes of a Congress or some of the other forces so as to have an alliance presence throughout the state. And I think this is what is going to pan out in 2024 elections for the state as well.
All
that
right.
It would be some sort of an alliance that would rule the government and the BJP would not be a part.
Okay, I am running out of time. Sumit, 2 minutes to you to rebut that, please.
Not the turnout of the erstwhile state of JNK, we were talking of the Valley's turnout. Because, even with 7 and 11% turnouts, there have been the chief ministers, which is only possible because the balance of power was tilted to Valley. Now, Devika ji, what you rightly said, it is 43, 47. It's not tilted completely in favor of Valley. That is why it didn't matter even their Karyakartas will vote, still they will be the chief ministers. Second point, it is the first time that JNK, a union territory, can have a Hindu chief minister, which has not happened in the history so far. Point number 3, if you look at the DTC elections, the vote share of BJP was more than all the alliance put together. I think BJP polled 540,000 votes. I can't remember the number, but they were around 20 to 30% less than the complete vote share. Point number 4, when you look at the elections today, nobody is unhappy with the abrogation of 370 in Jammu. You go and talk to anybody in Jammu, they're all happy because we know the region, we come from there. It is a tyranny. How can JNK, when we think about JNK, there can be always a Muftullah, Abdullah, ya koi Ghani ya Abdul. Why can't we have a Dogra chief minister? Why can't we have a Kashmiri Pandit as a chief minister? Why can't we have a Hindu as a chief minister? For that matter, why can't we have a Bakriwal or somebody else as a chief minister? So that dominance of Valley has based, the paradigms have changed, the things have changed, and these people, if they are so good, why did Umar Abdullah lose by Rashid Engineer, who filed his paper one day before the end date? Jail mein baitha Devka ji banda, 2 lakh votos se banda haar jata hai. He loses his host conscience by 2 lakhs votes. That talks about everything. And if Umar is so confident, why does he align with Congress? If Umar is so confident, then why does he still contesting as a MLA from 2 seats? अरे इतनी तो शर्म रखो ना, एक सीट से कंटेस्ट करके दिखाओ. So you are not sure about anything. You know the pulse of the ground. They know the pulse of the ground. So they are putting a brave face. And let me tell you, these people, look at all the 12 elections. Rana Saab will bail me out. How many seats have they ever won in last 12 elections? पिछले 75 सालों में in Jammu region, in Udhampur region, in Hindu-dominated regions. If I be very candid and direct, in Hindu-dominated regions, answer is 0. They are Valley-based parties because Valley had 65% of the seats with 15% of the area. That is why they have been winning. Now that paradigm is gone. That is why we are looking at a healthy election now. We are looking at an election of possibilities now, which was not there.
Okay, all right. Nikhil, I've let you respond to that earlier as well. Nikhil, 20 seconds.
Kashmir division had, in 2011 census, Kashmir division had a population of 6.9 million, while the Jammu division had a population of 5.3 million. So these stats alone are enough to say that the voter turnout in Kashmir wasn't 7% or 11%, or they were ruling with 15% of the area under them. It goes on to say that between the state of Jammu and Kashmir, Kashmir is the larger in terms of population, and in democracy, population is not what matters and not the land area.
Okay, all right. I've run out of time, but I thank all of our panelists for joining us to take this conversation forward. We leave it there.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.